Happy Monday, May 17th, 2021. Today we will continue to focus on imagination and riddle skills. I'll use my imagination and have fun writing. And for our close, well, choose your prompt. Pick what you want to write about. But honestly, this is for people who are passing. If you're not passing, if you have test grades to make up still, focus on those. Don't worry about the daily grades. I've had several people this weekend who finished their test grades, and with just the test grades and maybe a couple of daily grades that they already had, they went from a 30 something to 70s. So keep that in mind. Take care of test grades first before you do anything else. Those just by themselves might get you passing. So take care of that. Do quality work, and you'll be amazed at how 3 test grades can knock your your grade up very high or keep it very low. Keep that in mind. And let's do our positive affirmation so we can be positive on purpose. So come on, say them with me. Classroom people, let me see that thumb up. You're a good person. What are you? I am strong, confident, and successful. Let's grab that barbell. How do you feel about writing? I love writing. A lot of good writers in this class. And how do you feel about schoolwork? The harder I work, the stronger I become. And then a little Carvajal comedy. There's a doctor and a nurse. How's that kid doing that swallowed those coins? Kid swallowed coins. How's he doing? He asked the nurse. And she says, no change yet. Get it? He swallowed coins. Comes in one end, comes out the other. No change. Get it? That's hilarious. You love it. Especially Alex. I can tell Alex really liked that. Okay, so for today, well, once again, I want us to be sure that we take care of the test grades. Super important for those of us that are behind. And keep in mind, you don't even have to do the Gen Z 1, 2, 3, 4 to do the actual test. Everybody knows about how to do the literary analysis essay. If you don't know it by now, you can come into the same document that I'm in, look it up, and doing the major grade for the reading for the test. But keep in mind the Gen Z infographic and reflection, right? These two together make our third and final major grade. So even if you haven't done any of the Gen Z research, you can still turn this in and get a decent grade on it. And of course, I made it that way on purpose. I wanted you to be able to do that because I know some people procrastinate and fall behind. So keep in mind, I have to do Gen Z 1, 2, and 3, 4 before I have to do this. Well, not really. Just use your riddle skills if you need to. And you can come up, yeah, sure, Google a poem, look up a young poet, and write down the name of the poem and the poet. Put a link to the poem. What kind of music do you like? Name of a musician and a song. Put a link to the song. Fiction, you can look up young adult authors and find the title that looks cool to you, or something that you like that you read when you were younger. A lot of kids put Diary of a Wimpy Kid and talked about him. And then Gen Z, your choice. Well, who's a YouTuber? Who's a rapper? Who's an influencer that you think is cool? Who's an athlete that you think is cool? And you can put that in there. Gen Z, your choice. The theme, what's Gen Z all about? Riddle skills. The future, what's the future hold for Gen Z? Riddle skills. And for these, well, what are the events that stand out to you? If you need to Google them, you can Google and put in those events. Just getting this done is going to get you 70s or 80s. And then if you put in pictures, background colors, and stuff like that, that can get you up to the 80s or 90s. So you can do this whether you have the research or not. Of course, the point is to do the research and then put the highlights here to make an infographic. But hey, we're coming up to the wire. So be sure and get this done. And then also the reflection. Once you're done with it, then you can do the reflection. It's the same thing. Y'all know how picky I am. Be sure you have at least 100 words here. How is the process of researching? Just explain and give details. It doesn't matter. And then for the theme, what gave you that idea for the theme and for the future? Explain and give details. So those 3 major grades, right? Those are the ones that are going to make or break you. Be sure and take care of those as soon as possible. And don't be surprised if that all by itself gets you passing. And then, okay, well, let me make up a few daily grades. Like I had one kid this weekend. His grade came out to a 78 with all his major grades. Oh, I want to get to the 80s. So let me do 2 or 3 daily grades and see how that does to my grade and get it as high as I can. So keep in mind that's available to you.
What did I do, sir?
What was that again?
So what I do, I swear, because I think I was.
Yeah. I think you're in good shape now, Alex. You're doing good, but I'll double check you. But yeah, yours got you up there real quick, didn't it? For today's writing, once again, this is if you're passing. We're going to use our imaginación, use our imagination, right? And choose your prompt. And you can also use my sentence starter if you want. It is a daily grade. It does count. But once again, if you're passing, take the time to do this. If you're not, work on those test grades. So choose your prompt. Imagine it's the last day of school. Write a diary entry about how the year went. And you can start with, Dear Diary, it's finally over. I'm glad and then continue from there. Or you could write a tall tale, funny and exaggerated, about a teacher named Mr. Cruel. Get it, Mr. Cruel? I know, I'm hilarious. Who gives lots of homework. And here's my starter here. Once upon a time, in a crazy land called Texas, there lived the meanest, bitterest, and ugliest teacher in all of history. And his name was Mr. Cruel. He had, continue from there. And here's my favorite. Write a review about the worst movie ever made, Love and Broccoli, based on a true story. So tell us why this movie is so awful and explain and give details. You can use that there. For writing, blank post first is a 60, 4 lines a 70, 5 lines 85, 6 lines 100. So take care of it. Lots of funny answers from my previous classes. I'd love to see what y'all have to say, what you can do. And I love reading your writing. Y'all are strong, confident, and successful. So that's what we got going on for right now. Take care of it. And we will talk about how you all answered tomorrow.